Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sree's daily global COVID-19 show. On this program, we discuss various aspects of the pandemic, including the health, financial, and inequality crises going on, and we travel around the world to understand what life is like under COVID-19. Today's episode 196. We've been on the air for 196 days in a row since the lockdowns started in New York. This is part of our Stony Brook journalism set of episodes. My students at Stony Brook School of Journalism are producing several episodes of the show as part of their Digital Innovations in Journalism course. And this episode is produced by Kaila, Stang, Niki, Nassiri, and Lorena, Garcia. You'll meet one of those producers in just a few minutes. Our topic tonight, animation in Latin America, and we have two fabulous filmmakers who will be with us. Lola Barreto is here, animation filmmaker, winner of the 2010 Lapiz de Acero Award for Best Design of Animation in Ephemeral Architecture. Ooh, I want to know what ephemeral architecture is. And Gabriela Camarillo is with us, storyboard and character artist, and you can learn more about them in just a few minutes. Hi, everyone. I'm Sree. Thank you so much for being here. I'm the Marshall Loeb Visiting Professor of Digital Innovation at Stony Brook School of Journalism and the co-founder of Digimentors, a social, digital, and virtual events consulting company. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support of the show for 196 days in a row. We are approaching our 200th episode. And sadly, today we passed a big milestone in this country, 200,000 deaths. Could never have imagined that we would reach that number. And we're continuing to see more than 1,000 deaths a day in this country. We are also continuing to see cases around the world. And Boris Johnson announced today that in the UK, they will be locking down for another stretch of time and lots of new measures coming into place. So we are paying attention to that topic of what's happening with the lockdown, but also in these episodes, we try to understand how professionals in different walks of life are managing, surviving, and in some cases, thriving. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being with us. We're live right now on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. And we're grateful to everyone who is sharing this right now, tagging their friends, making sure that people can watch us live or later. If you've never seen the show, we are right now on the various platforms as well as Scroll.in and Scroll Global. We've had more than 1 million viewers and 129 million social impressions, 347 guests, including 202 women. We want to keep increasing that percentage. We have had guest speakers from 65 cities and 17 countries, including the chief scientist of the World Health Organization. And we're able to do this because of our awesome producers, Rose Horowitz and Vandana Menon. Vandana_Menon and Rose Horowitz 31. We're also able to do this because of our sponsors, and we're grateful to all of them. And we will tell you more about our sponsors in a little bit. Thank you all for being here. Please hit share right now and get the word out about this show. And as soon as the show's over, this will repeat on all those channels. So if your friends can't watch now, they can certainly watch later. Are you ready to talk about animation? Are you ready to talk about what's happening in Latin America? We'll be joined by our two guests, Lola Barreto and Gabriela Camarillo, in just a few minutes. In the meantime, we're going to first be joined by one of our students who's producing this show, and she will talk to us about what is happening with this topic and how they arrived at it and how they invited Lola and Gabriella to be here. So please say hello to Lorena Garcia. Hi, Lorena.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
So let me ask you, my first question is, how are you and where are you and how has your family managed through the pandemic?
Oh, they've been fine. They've been making remedies and whatever.
Remedies, you mean like home remedies?
Yeah. I don't
Okay.
even know where to get them.
Okay. And how are you managing with classes?
It hasn't been that bad.
Okay. Where and are you in your dorm? Are you off campus?
I'm off campus.
Okay. Excellent. So tell us about the two speakers you decided to invite.
Okay, so today we have two animators from Latin America. The first is Gabriela Camarillo, and Gabriella is a storyboard and character artist from Monterrey, Mexico. In 2018, she received the Ani Mexico scholarship to study her master's in character animation and animated filmmaking at Gobelin in Paris, a renowned animation school. Gabriella has previously worked at DreamWorks, Cartoon Network, Blizzard Entertainment, and Pixar. And our second guest is Lola Barreto. Lola is an artistic director, production designer, and animation filmmaker from Colombia. Her design and transmedia creation for technology and media industries is based on embracing innovation, cyberculture, and world building. She was the winner of the 2010 Lapiz de Acero Award for the Best Design of Animation and Ephemeral Architecture. Her most recent project was the co-creation of Gravedad Uno, a sci-fi TV animated series.
Terrific. So how did you decide your team of Kaila, Niki, and you? How did you decide this is the topic you wanted to cover?
It was mainly Niki's idea. She's really interested in animation, and we really wanted to pick a crowd that's not very well represented, I guess, outside of America, or I guess the United States.
And we should point out that this is also an important month that you wanted to mark. You're looking for a topic around Hispanic Heritage Month, and so we'll be talking about filmmakers from Latin America, but we also obviously have a lot of Latinx filmmakers in the United States as well. So this is very cool. So shall I bring on our filmmaker and let you go, Lorena? Thank you so much for you and your team for your hard work. And I know you'll be backstage putting in questions for me to grill our great guests. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
I'll see you. Bye.
So that was Lorena Garcia, one of our awesome students at Stony Brook School of Journalism, who helped produce this show. So let's bring on stage now Lola Barreto, who is with us. She is one of the directors, the filmmakers that we spoke about, and we are awaiting the arrival of Gabriella. So let me say hi to Lola.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so glad for having this invitation. So thank you so much for having me in this show. And thanks to all the girls that are making this possible. So thank you, Sree.
I counted at least 6 thank yous, and we should be thanking you. So we want to make sure we don't just thank each other all day, but thank you for being here and for saying yes to my students and to this opportunity for us to talk and to meet and to understand the world of filmmaking. My first question to you, how are you? Where are you? And how's your family doing through the crisis?
Well, I'm very good right now. You know, it's been a very complicated time in humanity for the whole world. But I'm pretty happy to say that I'm here in Colombia, Bogota, which is the capital of Colombia, and I'm staying with my family. This was like, you know, we as humans were trying to adapt to a new kind of, you know, life with interactions with all of what happened with COVID. So it's been such a great opportunity to come together to think about the things that we can make better, and also to get very close to the family. So in my case, for example, it was very important to be back at home. I like, it's been long time without living with my sister and mother, and this time especially was very particular because I just came back to kind of take care of my family and take care of my, you know, my community. and it's been such a great opportunity to think about the future and think about the present and how we, as as Colombians, we're trying to come together and defeat not only COVID but so many issues that we have locally.
Yeah, I think that's something that we're all discovering, that there's so much going on, and how do we stay healthy and then fight some of the problems we have in our own countries. And each
Yeah,
country is different, and
definitely.
America especially is going through so much at this time. Tell me how Colombia has handled the issue of COVID cases. Is it rising, falling, mask wearing? Talk about that a little bit, please.
Well, we're right now we're kind of, you know, the cases are rising, but we're in the moment that the curve is decreasing. So some of the measures, we've been in lockdown for almost since March, and just until now, like about 2 weeks ago, all the things starting to go normal in at least in Bogota and the rest of the country. But besides that, we have so much other issues that are not related only to COVID, but to social issues, economic issues. So for us has been really, really hard to handle, because it's like we have such a story of, social um, nuances that are not easy for us. We are trying to solve as much as we can, um, very deep, like very rooted problems that we have as Colombians and as Latin Americans. This is not only for Colombia. I think Brazil, Chile, Argentina, we are like these countries that we were trying to get solutions in our hands, but it's very complicated when you don't have access to financials, to economic resources. You don't have, like, we as Latin Americans, we need to fight a lot to get rights and to get the same kind of um, health conditions for everyone. So it's not been easy. But what is important is that this is the moment that we, as Latin Americans, we're trying to narrow the gaps and to create new kind of bonds between the people to raise as a culture.
Tell us, watching from Colombia, as you watch America right now, the United States, what is your sense of how we're handling the crisis? Do you feel sad, pity? Do you feel it's a tragedy? Do you feel like this is something that America is always telling the world what to do? Here now, it's suffering. How do you look at this?
Well, no, I think that this is the moment to see that the problems that we have, the issues that we have, like we as Latin Americans, as culture, we're trying to look for our own ways to solve problems. I don't think right now we are so much following what the US is doing, because we first, we're very busy. We're trying to solve also our own concerns. So it's quite hard. Also, that what you see in the media is very different to what is going on. I don't want to say that I'm like neutral, because I'm not neutral in my point of view, but I think that every single human and every single society has rooted problems that in different scales are almost the same. So I think in this moment, US are having like very deep issues with all the social changes and all the social, especially economic and political, because we've seen how US in the past, it's been in the middle of so many decisions, major decisions for other countries. Like, I don't want to say this in public, but it's kind sticking the nose in other in other
You said
countries,
it in public, so
in other countries conflicts, right? And it wasn't helping. And I think right now, US is trying to handle so many issues in the center, in the core of society. And I think that from outside, we are like we are we're getting aware about that we as Latino Americans, that also, for example, free people from other third developing countries are getting the sense that we as a culture, we can find some other solutions. And but the first thing is that we need to, this is the same, you know, if you don't care about yourself, if you don't care about your health, about your mental being and everything, you cannot help anyone else. So it's the same for a country. So I think that a country needs to be like in control of what is going on in the core, in the center, in the, you know, like trying to solve as much as they can the social, health, economic issues, to be able to help other countries, or to be able to even start getting decisions, or start to getting involved in the decisions of other countries' conflicts.
Okay, I understand that for sure. So let's talk about your work. We talked a lot about geopolitics and about Colombia. I'm going to show your website, and
Perfect.
and then you will tell us a little bit about your work. Your website is LOLABARRETO.com, and this is a beautiful animation here, a cartoon. Did you draw that?
Yeah, I drew that. I drew that last year, and this was. I want to talk briefly about this. This picture, this drawing was done along with an initiative of from women in Argentina. So this was for this network of women in Argentina that are, they all of them are animators. There are network of female animators, and we gather for a moment to create a short film together. So this drawing was for that short film, and it was I like it a lot, and I thought that it was a representation of myself.
I like that. Tell me, so these are some of your animation here?
Yes.
Oh, so many. Why don't we watch one? Could you want to pick one, or a sizzle? Do you have a sizzle reel, or what would you like us to look at?
Oh, if you can go to the top, I think there is one called Gravedad 1.
This,
It's the
this one
third
here?
one. Yeah, that one.
Okay. So do you, will we be able to watch the trailer here?
I think there is, yes, go, you might
Hold on.
find,
I think we have the link to the trailer. 1 second.
in the top.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think we have that. Yeah. So let me just pull that up
Mhm.
here, and then we can play it. So tell us about what we're going to be seeing here. I'm just going to pull this back.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. So there's a trailer for your film, right?
This is a TV series.
Los tienen en pantalla. ¿Atacamos ya? No. Se nos van a ir. Todavía no. Ya están en pantalla. Algo no me gusta. Va muy lento. Es ya o se nos van. No he dado la orden. ¿Quién está conmigo? ¡Lo tengo! Tenemos un herido y una área picada. Vamos a volver a cubierta. Repito, vamos a...
So please tell us about that, the show.
Sree, I think the song cut up. Could
Yeah,
you
can you
please
hear me?
repeat
Can
the
you hear me?
last? Yes,
Yeah.
perfect.
So
Yes.
can you tell us about the show?
Yes, that was a TV show that we produced in 2017. I was the co-creator and producer of this TV show, and it was for the Colombian youth. And I'm very happy with that work. I've been criticized because so many people is was telling me, oh, that's low poly, such a low quality. But these people don't know how much we work to make it happen in Colombia, like in a place where we barely have science fiction stories in animation. So it was very tough, and I like it a lot because we created all, this is the story that happens in the future, where the universe of this story is that the moon has exploded. So the only thing that you have is like a ring of asteroids surrounding the earth, and we have these two characters, and she's a rebel and the other one is, like a fighter. It's from the arms, and they have to come together, and they have to learn from each other and work together because they are sent back to Earth. It's a moment in the future where all humanity is living in the outside in space, and they will have to make the ways to come back to Earth and start helping each other. And there is all of this happening in this show. And also, it was very interesting to have, like, the spaceships that you saw there. All of them were inspired in animals and the nature of Colombia. So we did research in scouting, let's say scouting animals from our species, our folklore, our fauna, and then we come up with these designs for the spaceships and everything that they all of them are inspiring our ancient wisdom, like from the indigenous people, that we have all this great philosophy. So we read through all these amazing stories, and we created the universe for this TV show.
And it's called Gravity One. And
Yes.
that was great to see. And who could say that the quality is not high? It was, you could see the animation was very high quality. You can see these graphic design here.
Well,
And
can you please just there is the second picture, the purple one. Yeah, can you click on that one moment? I would just want to explain one of the process. Yes, I think that people that say, oh, this is such a a shitty show because it doesn't have millions of dollars as Walt Disney and Pixar. But I care a lot about this work because, for example, this concept, it was made because we studied the human heart. So this, for example, is an asteroid and is the rebel base. This is a headquarters where all of you can have the spaceships coming into this base, and all the design is based in the morphology of a human heart. So we check on research from the human, like how the human heart is composed, from the organ systems, and how is working to be able to come up with this idea. And it's like, okay, we are having like a base for spaceships in the space, but is with the shape of a human heart, because it's in the future and in the moment where we are able to create this kind of amazing things, like this is all science fiction.
well, we love hearing that. Gabriella is here, so let's say hi to her as well. And folks, if you just joined us, we're talking to two filmmakers. Lola is in Colombia, and Gabriella is joining us right now from Mexico. So let's say hi to her.
Hi, Gabriela. So happy to have you
Hi.
here. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
Wait, can you hear me?
Can you? We can't hear you.
I
You
can't
can.
hear you for some reason. I'm gonna turn
Let's
off
see.
the
So she's going to adjust her.
speaker.
No, we could hear you. Hold on. We could hear you right there. Oh, I could hear you. It was a little delayed, but we could
I'm
hear you.
so sorry. Wait.
I
Let's
think
try
the
it.
moment you unmuted this,
There you go.
it's
It's
been
working. It's
troubleshoot
working.
nightmare.
It's working.
Oh, you
No,
can't
but
hear
it's
me
working.
now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can't hear any of you.
We can hear you.
For
We
some
can hear
reason,
you.
I can't.
Oh, you can't hear us. Okay.
Jesus, I'm so sorry.
Oops. Okay, so we'll come back to No, it's okay.
At all.
This is fun with technology.
I'm so sorry. There's always like technical
yeah.
issues.
No, that's okay. That's fun with tech. Lola, in terms of where filmmaking and animation filmmaking is in Latin America, what do you think of the situation? Because we see lots of non-animated films, feature films, documentaries that do really well out of Latin America. What is the situation with animation? Is there a lot of government funding? Is there encouragement? What do you see? Or you mentioned Pixar and Disney, and so all the attention is on that kind.
Yeah, I think that right now we've been in Colombia, at least we started to talk about how to produce films in animation, how to, to find a way to come together and look for options to help the industry and to help the communities and to help especially independent creators, because I think in Colombia there are right now we have funding for development, funding for production of films, fundings for production of TV series, and also we're trying to give these incentives to creators, to independent persons that have ideas and come together, with their groups, and they can develop an idea. I think that the only difference that we have with countries like US and like UK, or like these countries that have amazing budgets to do animation, is that in Latin America we don't have the same amount of money, and also we just until now we are building up these companies and studios where they can start, having all the infrastructure that it's required to have animation networks. What is happening right now with the COVID is that these small studios, or that the companies that we had in Colombia, for example, in animation, they shift to the telepresence or remote mode of work, and they are finding that it's possible to do it. It's possible to have a numerous number of people working in a project remotely, and I think that COVID has been very tough for many areas, but in animation, I think it's been helping because it's showing business owner and producers that there are so many talent, so many people willing to work in animation, and what the COVID has done is that it's narrowing the gap between these between networks, between teamworks.
Awesome. So thank you for that. Let's just take a look at who's watching. There are people watching around the world. Let's say hello to them. Paula is watching from Tallahassee, Florida. Have you spent time in Florida?
No, not really. In Florida, no.
Okay, which parts of the U.S. have you been to?
Oh, I went to New York, also Los Angeles, and also Seattle, Oregon. Yeah, only those places.
Nice.
And I like it a lot. I like it a lot.
Jonathan says hello from Losida, or a couple of blocks west of Losida. He's in downtown Manhattan. Jake is one of the students watching and says good luck to the students. Charles is watching with Mary in New Jersey, and Charles is a sponsor of the show, so we're always grateful. That's his book, The Inventor in You, and we'll be thanking our sponsors later. Stefan says, hola, everyone from Ramsey, New Jersey. Can't wait for this fascinating discussion. And Rose is saying hello to Kaila, Niki, and Lorena. Great show. Rose Horowitz 31 is one of the producers, and she's watching from Connecticut. And Rahajan, another great supporter, is working on a paper, else I would gladly join tonight. He'll watch a replay later in the week. And We have someone saying great work, guys. And my mother is watching from Kerala in India. Hi, Amma, love you. Hope you're well. Hope to talk to you soon. And Daniela is watching from Colombia. Daniela, do you know Daniela?
Daniela Saavedra. Perhaps I know her, but no.
Well, this is like when people say to me, do you know somebody from India, right? It's a big place.
Sorry.
It's okay. So
It's
Colombia is
okay.
also a big place. Doesn't mean that you would know everybody there, but it's great that she was able to say hello. And let's see if we can bring Gabriella on as well. Let's try to bring her on. Hi, Gabriella.
Hi, Gabriella.
Okay,
Nice to meet you.
we can see her. One thing we can do is if we can hear you, we can type questions into the chat, and then you can answer. So if you can plug in your microphone, that way at least we can put in the questions. So she has headphones on, but she can't. You can hear me or no? Okay.
No.
So she's gonna try again, and we'll bring her back. She's gonna put something in the comments, and we'll bring her back. This is fun with technology, and this is the kind of stuff that sometimes happens. Kayla's who's one of our producers, loving this so far, but I may be biased. She says having a great time working behind the scenes. Why don't you give us Lola, a little bit of advice for people who want to go into animation? How good an animator do you have to be? Do you have to have great drawing skills, or is it storytelling, or is it technical, or do you need a combination of everything in order to be in animation filmmaking?
You need to have patience.
I named many skills, but not patience. So you said patience.
Yeah, I think that I struggle a lot with drawing. I started I first started with illustration and doing drawings. I then went to study design, but I think that the most important to do animation is to be willing to be patient. It means to to keep to keep working, to keep doing ideas, to keep engaging with teams. Animation, I'm not quite agree with these people that do all by themselves all together. I think that the most amazing part of animation is that you can learn from others. It's a teamwork always. So I used to say to everyone, everything that I know from anything that I know of life, for example, I've learned it through animation. So it was because I learned drawing, but then when I started to work for the industry in commercial, there was a time where I did commercials, corporate videos, and I had to learn about so many aspects of, like branches of knowledge. Like I have to learn about science, I have to learn about sociology, philosophy. Like every kind of project needs different kind of knowledge. So you need to be open, but also I think drawing is an amazing skill to have. I say to many of my friends that I'm not a good like cartoonist, or I'm not very much good in drawing. I remember that when I did a work for Nickelodeon, they came to me and they say, "We want to have your own style." And my style was like very sticky, sticky characters, and but I had these ideas. I had all these ideas to communicate and to to convey to the people, and it's been amazing to have the support of of a network of talented artists to make it happen. So drawing, having ideas, having patience, and do always work like every day. Try to engage in how to learn new things, and be open to be criticized, be open to like not beating oneself up that much, like just to keep going.
That is a really important part of understanding the work that you do, and it is. I see animation as real art, because you not just the art of the artist, but also the way you think and tell a story, and even the short films are really difficult to put together, and labors of love, because I'm sure there isn't as much money as there is in other kinds of filmmaking. What kind of software do you use? Has the technology changed a lot? Are you doing things on computers? Are you doing things on those old gels? What is your style?
Well, I like in animation, you need to learn every single technique I mean in terms of software. You need to keep up to date. I remember when I had the opportunity to do gels like cell animation, with, like coloring cells cell by cell, and that was really tough. And then there was a moment where all software like the first Adobe that came into Colombia, like I was in that moment, we were amazed because we used to do like tons and tons of work in animation, like drawing single frame by frame, and that was a lot. And then all this software from back, I'm talking about 20 years ago. So from there are so many software for any kind of technique. So it's different if you do stop motion. There's software specialized for stop motion. For 3D, tons of depending of the pipeline you want to do. In 2D animation, also there's Toon Boom, TV Paint. We also have Animate, and those that still are working with the Flash version, all Flash version. But I say that I stick with the technology of the ideas, which is the 1D. The 1D is writing, and 1D is communicating. Is communicating ideas, and also I support my work in with sketching, lots of speed painting and sketching, concept art, which I do when I do it digitally. I work with Adobe. That's the software I'm using. Lately, I've been using a Sketch because I'm working on my Surface Pro Microsoft. So I've been trying out, but there are so many other software like there is one new one that we're working in a short film right now. Is the Sketch and I think forgot the name, but depending on the TV show, like I don't like to say, oh, my pipeline is only in Maya or my pipeline is only in Unreal, because that depends on the project. What I look for first in any project is the talent. So, for example, if the art director feels more confident working with a software, so we get agreed in trying to work with the same software. But I think there's so many software out there that you can select and you can decide. What is important is that you can feel comfy with the software and with the tool that you're working with.
Thank you. Let's see if we can get Gabriella back. Let's see if she's here. Hi, Gabriella.
Does it work now?
Yay! Yeah, now that's gonna be great.
I had to run. I had to go get my sister's
Laptop.
iPad just so this could
Yeah,
work.
well, you made it work, and that's the important thing. Folks, if you're just joining us, this is Gabriella, and that's Lola. Gabriella is joining us from Mexico. My first question, Gabriella,
Hola, Gaby.
is how are you? Where are you? And how is your family managing through the crisis? I see a lot of cases in Mexico City right now.
Yeah, I think that Mexican culture and Latin American culture in general, it's a little very hugs and kisses. So I think it doesn't get too along with the quarantine situation. So there have been a lot of cases, but my family right now is doing well. Thank God. And I'm doing well as far as things can be. And I'm calling in from Monterrey, from the state of Nuevo León. It's in northeast of Mexico. It's below Texas, so we're like the rancheros of Mexico.
Very nice. Thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about your work and the kind of work you do, and what have you been doing this summer? How have you been able to do your work?
Yeah. So I think that ever since the quarantine started, I was studying abroad. and I just switched over to working, in a little apartment, and I finally arrived home about 2 months ago, and I just been working from here. I don't think that it's changed a lot the routine from how you usually work as an animator or an artist. You just sit and you draw and you hope for the best, and you just, yeah, that I think it hasn't changed that much. But it's been, I think that the best thing probably is that finally, as an artist, you don't get scolded for being sitting in a place too long, and people finally understand that you're actually working while sitting, and that thing is possible. So, but I think things have been going same as before. Like, I don't think that things have got too interrupted because of the quarantine for the way that I work.
All right, so let's take a look at your demo reel. And so tell us what we're going to see.
Mostly samples of storyboards from like short film ideas I made, and just little bits and pieces from work, and from my personal projects. A lot of them mostly just for like failed school pitches and stuff like that. But I think I just I really enjoy nature and working with that concept of our relationship with nature and creatures and monsters. There's some samples there. I think the demo reel might show that better, but I really like monsters. I really, really like monsters, and I feel
Monsters, okay. Yeah.
uh,
So let's take a look at your demo reel. We'll watch about 2 minutes of it, and then we'll come back to you, okay?
sure.
Okay, folks, this is Gabriella's demo reel. We'll just pause that there, and everyone can check out gabocamarillo.carbonmade.com. And let me first turn to Lola and ask her for her thoughts on what she just saw.
Well, my first question was like, it's for Gabi. It's you do all the animatic, you do all the drawings, and I would like to know more about how your creative process is.
Sure. Yeah, I do. Actually, I do like all the. I mean, there were some things there from work. I was at DreamWorks working for a show called Three Below Troll Hunters for Guillermo del Toro, and but the rest is just my personal work. I like writing the thing. I really like world building. So I just cook up an idea. I take an idea. Like one of the things that you saw with the wolves, it was an idea that I had just because I was very sad, and I sat one night and my puppy was there and I was very sad and I felt like a bad person. But my puppy looked at me and she didn't feel any judgy, right? And I was like, wow, it feels like you're my sister from another life. And I wanted to make this story of the origin of mankind through the eyes of wolves, and like they're but with a science fiction twist to it. But anyway, hopefully that can come out someday. But I think I just, if I feel something, I go with it and I try to explore that feeling as a story. And the drawing part of it, yeah, I think I never I just became a storyboarder because I think that's what at school I got told that I could make money out of. But it seems that it's just a little bit similar to comic making. I always really like making comics, so I think the process for me is just have a feeling, try to think of it in my mind, uh, watch something that I think would make me think of it, like I don't know, anime or something, and a film, and then just try to kind of put things together in my mind and draw it out. That's it.
Yeah, it's for me it's the same. I found that this first step of drawing what you have in mind to try to put it together, it's a very difficult process, and
Yeah,
I had such a difficulties at the beginning of my career with that. It was serious, really, it was really serious, and that was the reason that I like my friends nowadays, but I didn't do illustration work and all of that because I got really frustrated about that process. But I decided to go back to sketching, and that's where I feel the best. Like when I'm sketching, when I'm putting ideas, well, like having these feelings or trying to convey like this, even if they are sticky figures. But also when they get more kind of design sketches for scenarios like backgrounds or props or characters. I'm not that great with character design. I think I'm better with machines and with props and with
that's the
like
opposite for me. I struggle a lot with machinery. I think I just really like characters, but organic figures. I think I just spent most of my life drawing dogs and wolves and
Mhm.
dragons. I really like dragons, and I think
Like
that
fantastic figures, amazing.
yeah, those are the best.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that I just like organic shapes, but same. I think for backgrounds, I prefer drawing a mountain than drawing like what you
And
gotta do it.
besides of that, you do also animation, like with Toon Boom, or like
Yeah, I
what
think
else?
in the last end of the demo reel, you see
Yeah.
animation,
Mm-hmm.
but the first half is just kind of like what I mostly work for, which is the storyboard part. But the last part of the reel has 2D animation, and yeah, but I haven't actually tried Toon Boom Harmony. I mostly just use TV Paint, but I know that Toon Boom is very nice for the vectors. I actually work Storyboard Pro.
Mm-hmm.
It's Toon Boom as
Storyboard
well.
Pro. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's very nice. I really like the vectors. It doesn't make the
Yeah.
file so big.
Yeah,
I
it's
really like
depending
the
on.
work. Sorry,
No, go ahead.
no, that I was watching just in the what's the name, the because I came in a bit late, some stuff and troubleshooting, and I think this happened. But um, that series that you made to that 2017, I can't even imagine how hard it must have been to get the financial aid for it and anything. I think that Mexico, I mean, it's kind of like kickstarting it. It's getting better at the whole animation part, especially because we
Well,
have
Mexico is doing very well in animation.
yeah, I mean, it is
Like,
now. It is definitely is now. I think that whenever you compare yourself to United States, well, it's not always the best, right?
well,
But
but no, definitely Mexico is a very good position right now. I think there are
uh
some issues that we are trying to do better in terms of labor work and labor conditions, like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
payment and more inclusivity for people, to be represented. But I think Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, like have been the countries that have shaped a little bit the animation in Latin America. I think right now the moment is for Colombia. I think
Yeah.
Colombia is racing very well in animation. We have conquered some areas, and we in Colombia, like we have a cluster of artists, producers, creators that we talk to each other a lot, even when there is still competition.
Yeah.
But we are trying, to come out of the problems as issues, and try to ask for the government for more investment in our works, and I think we're getting it. Like we're still trying to find a way to do distribution, to sell our works, and to create stories with very good quality. So it was very difficult for to create a sci-fi TV show, because I myself right now, I after almost 80 years, I finally got an incentive to develop a sci-fi movie, and this was like very very hard, because it was a process of so many years, where the only thing I could listen was, "This is impossible, Lola. You won't be able to do it. You will never be able to do it in Colombia. You will never be able." In Canada, one of the immigration police officers told me, "Okay, you want to come to my country to do movies?" And I say, "Yes." And you have the movie and say, "No." "Okay, the day you have $2 billion, you can come back to Canada." I say, "Okay." Perhaps I don't have the $2 billion, but I have the idea of creating a sci-fi movie from Latin America for the rest of the world, that don't talk only about narco traffic or Pablo
Yeah, I
Escobar or
understand
these
that.
kind of stories that we as Colombians, most of us, we don't relate to that much.
Yeah, like you kind of
Mhm.
just sink into that. I know that it's just been the same for Mexico, which we call narco groserías, like that whole thing. For people, groserías actually means like rude. It's like when you say the F word or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, and
like
that's groserías, and we call it narco groserías. Well, technically narco serias, but narco groserías because we're just so tired of that shit. Honestly, like
yeah,
actually, Breaking Bad, it's a good show. I'm not gonna lie, it's written well,
yeah,
but it
it's
was
very
actually
good.
responsible for the peak of so much narco traffic in Mexico and just so
Yeah,
much
like we have
violence.
already so much about narco culture, and so much about, like this is, yeah, this is a lot. So
Yeah,
I think Sree wants to know what is narco groserias.
yeah,
I also just want to say this thank you. The conversation between two filmmakers is awesome. We don't hear this kind of conversation at length. That's one of the things that we're learning here. My students who are working on the show, they brought two voices that we don't often hear, and getting you both to talk. I'm learning so much. So thank you so much. There's at least one of our students, Garo, who's a big Breaking Bad fan. So you have to be careful.
no, I think it's good. I like
Hmm.
Breaking Bad. I'm just gonna say everything that you make has a consequence, so make sure that you're making something that will actually feed people, not just entertaining, because you're responsible, a filmmaker, of what you do. It's the same thing as you eat. You're not going to just be eating junk food. I mean, it can be very tasty junk food, and I mean, Breaking Bad has amazing content, but um I think it's fine that those shows are created, but ideally, I wish that the level of quality was also allowed for projects that have more heart in it, because we are what we consume. And if the best quality shows out there, like Game of Thrones, that got so much budget, is everything about rape and just anger and just all this kind of like cycle of hatred thing. Not to mention that it ended horribly because they didn't actually respect the writer, George Martin. They entirely destroy his content because of for revenue and for fan, and also um, you are responsible for what you create. And I feel that in mind, sorry, I got like a bit heated up, but I think that people, they really have so much power. Like we as creators, as artists, we have so much power, and if we do not responsibilize ourselves in just what we create, I think that it goes hand in hand for how we act as people. Like what kind of things that
Well,
we like to
yeah,
create.
and also I think it's important to give room to other kind of voices and
Yeah,
stories, like you know like we have all this world of creation and everything is possible. but also the only thing that we ask for is, hey, give room to other kind of stories. Like, for
Yeah.
example, like having, not only, but because you need to create another kind of role models as well. So what do you think your son or your daughter is going to, if those two little beings are watching only shows with this kind of level of violence always all the time? So it's quite of what kind of mentality we're raising up as a culture, what kind of, we are creating more consumers, which is, we already have billions in the world. So it seems like right now it's that we're trying to push a mentality of, we would like to have more creators, we would like to have more people concerned about the for example, environmental concerns about how we can take care of our planet, how can we trust each other, how we can solve, these social crises that we have in the planet. And I think art is a very powerful, um, like way of living, to express love, to express, all this in collective intelligence, to come together to share, and there is, and we're not talking about religion, about economic interest. We're talking about how to create something together, with by the means of art. And also that means that to do it, we need to have financial, we need to have like support in financials, in health, and like, yeah, it's so much, but we need to give room to other kind of stories as well.
Those are amazing conversation, amazing points of view that I think more people should hear, and making a case for opening room for more kinds of stories and different kinds of stories. I think that's very, very important. Let's look at some of the comments that are coming in. Califo says, "Oh wow, this is live, so cool."
Hey, can
Terry says hi to everybody. Mark is watching from Durham, North Carolina. How easy is it to make political statements in Latin and Central America? A number of artists here in our African American community have been making a lot of political statements. Let's ask Lola and about life in Colombia, and let's ask also our friend Gabriella about life in Mexico, about making political statements. In America, in the United States, as you know, we are told journalists are the enemy of the people, and dissent is being frowned upon from the White House. So, Lola, we'll go to you first, and then Gabby.
Well, it's very difficult even to make comedies or humor in a country where someone that wants to make a joke to the government, or sometimes we have a story of having journalists that they were killed in Colombia. Journalists in Colombia were killed just to make a joke, to tell this, to tell the truth of so many things that were happening. So it's hard. It's hard. It's difficult. We right now also we have social issues of leaders in the country areas, the countryside areas of Colombia. People that are fighting for rights, leaders from the Afro communities, from the indigenous peoples are, like we people that we live in the city, we are very detached, like we are very far of what is going on. So we need to be more aware about what is going on. So in terms of making statements, it's very difficult, but I don't consider myself someone that it's fighting always all the time. And I think that's why I do art. I think I used to say I'm responsible of bringing to life the fruits of the fruits of the soul of humans, of human beings. That we agreed in an idea, and by the means of the art we create these statements by making questions. So our because I like a couple of years ago I decided myself, because I had some issues with my business, with my career and everything. And I asked to myself, okay, Lola, are you gonna be fighting all your life against this and against that? Like, and I say to myself, you know what, I really want to do design, I really want to tell stories. And I think I'm here in this life to to make these things possible by the means of by in my own way. And my own way, it means like I'm going to tell in the face of many people, not because I want to be against, but because I want to think about the future, and future is present. So right now is where we're building a new society. Right now, I'm not sitting down waiting to these things to happen. I'm here to tell everyone, hey, you're sitting down there with your art. You can create an statement in the way you create something, in the way you convey this, in the way you, for example, instead of having, you know, right now, because I'm working in a short film, and the artist is an Afro artist, and it's great because it's the story of a chair. And we presented this project to Annecy, and we were rejected because, of course, our story doesn't have character, you know, the humanized characters. No, it's a chair. So it was like, how you come up with this idea? And this artist wants to talk about the stories of his community, about migration, about how they have been separated from their roots, you know, from Africa. And we're not making a war. We're making a short film, inviting people to join to this idea, and to, you know, by the means of animation, we want to tell this story, and why it's important to come together and discuss and have um, and to talk and to have a conversation, which is more important than, you know, raising an arm, a weapon, and going out and, you know, killing people. Yeah, that's my response to that. Sorry, it was long.
No, thank you. It's so important. At Lola Barreto G is her Twitter handle. Please follow her. Let's go to at Silvermender. That's Gabriella. Your thoughts on this political question?
Um, it's necessary, for sure. It's necessary, and I feel that because Mexico is right next to United States, and I think actually the way that you were saying, Lola, how difficult it is to actually get things going, and I know that comparatively, you keep saying Mexico is doing very well, and I work in the United States, and I was saying no, Mexico is not doing so well, but I mean you are comparing. I mean, ultimately, even though Mexico has gone through a lot of violence, we're still talking about a country that is sitting next to a first world country, well, kind of first world country, right? And it's still one of the leading countries in animation. So of course, it will have more privilege. And I think that's a conversation that is something that only Mexico is starting to step into. Like we're kind of leading, we're following the example of the United States by only until recently we started following in. Like the Me Too movement started popping up in Mexico, and I know that it had a lot of friction because we are still a very patriarchal society. But I do realize that the southern countries, like they do look at Mexico and say, "You're actually in a very good spot." And as Mexico, we're like, "We're not. We're next to like the big kid in classroom with straight A's and has like the biggest, coolest car." And has like we are kind of comparing ourselves constantly, but also as Mexico, we lose sight of the rest of what is Latin America, and I think that I know that everyone's been saying like Latin American power, right? I think that Mexico, even just working here, I know that it um, it's only starting to, I think, unite. I think because of, in a way, because of Trump, almost like he creates so much animosity that we are starting to say, we don't need you, we don't need the United States, we can race on our own. Of course, we gotta heal so much, and I think even just healing all the animosity between the countries of Mexico, kind of like just the fact that sometimes like Mexicans are like, well, what is anything underneath Mexico, right? And we still get the spotlight. So I don't know. There is even just politically wise, I think that Mexico has to get much better at recognizing itself as what advantages we have and what we can do for other countries, and just the fact that we are still fighting, right? Um, by taking the example from United States, it's strange. It's very collaborative, but at the same time, it's like a lot of fighting. I don't know. But I was just thinking about the way that you were speaking, and it's very cool. I really hope that things get better, and this likewise if Mexico can keep getting that like get better wages and stuff from United States, and also United States stop sucking dry every country that surrounds it. It would be really nice. But anyway,
Well, no, thank you for that. We have a final question. Daniela asks, how do you think Latin American, or where do you think Latin American animation will be in 5 years? So with that, you can give us some final thoughts. So I'll ask Lola first. Give us your final thoughts and answer that question, and any final thoughts you have. Lola, please go ahead.
I'm pretty bad in telling, foresight in the future, but but I think in 5 years, I'm in more. I'm in my, let's say, my best positive um, part of my life, let's say. So I'm being very positive with animation right now for Latin America. I think that the most important that we are finding our own voice. So I think that the from here to 5 years, we will be having more and more movies that are related or that are representing our culture in a more let's say authentic way, like we are that right now producers and creators are more aware about to find like our fingerprint, let's say, of animation. And so we are building that. So in 5 years, I think that would be a fact that would be happening. So more movies that you perhaps can recognize that are from Latin America content, right? And I hope that we can have more so many solutions in financing, which is, I think, that's the biggest problem of to create content in Latin America. And I think in 5 years that will be related to new technologies or platforms, distribution applications or distribution firms that are interested in Latin America. I think that US, Canada, Germany, UK are will be more and more interested in Latin America. Also because we consume a lot. We we watch a lot of movies. We watch a lot of videos. We're not only creators, but also we are like numerous people in Latin America, and that's the same as Asia. Look, like Japan and China, they have been interested in Latin America, and I think this in 5 years we will be bigger as an industry, as in content. We will be stronger. That's what I see in animation. I don't. I'm not sure about the political and social. I think, and I hope that we can raise in a better way, because it's been really hard the last years for Latin America.
Thank you. And our guest is Lola Barreto, and she's an animation filmmaker from Colombia. And we are so grateful that you would be with us, Lola. And please follow her. She's Lola Barreto G on Twitter. And do check out her work and check out her website. Awesome work that we already saw at lolabarreto.com. Now let's go to Gabriella. Your thoughts, please.
for 5 years from now, I think you just have to echo Lola's statement, and piggybacking on that, I think that we have a lot of people. I mean, Latin America is very big, and I think that other countries know the market, and I think following initiatives like Netflix, and I think Crunchyroll just kind of made I think it's Onyx Eclipse or something. I can't recall the exact words of the name, but it's kind of also doing this thing of like, oh, I mean, they consume and we create and we're giving voice to these people, and I think that Netflix is kind of one of the main actors for that, just kind of like giving voice to other countries. And I think that especially with how Spider-Verse became such a huge hit, and I actually uh, the main character, Miles Morales, I actually like this, like Miles Morales like 1,000 morals. But it's kind of just like a hidden thing, and it's really funny.
Oh, I did not catch that. That's
Ye-
pretty cool.
but yeah, it's super sick. It's like, yeah, you 1,000 morals, the Spider-Man, but it was really cool. But he's Puerto Riqueño, and you don't get a lot of Puerto Riqueño characters like ever. And I think that the video game just came out, and people were like going mad, just kind of like saying, "Whoa, I saw a Puerto Rican flag in the background." People were like losing their minds. They were like, "What the fuck? Like, there's a Puerto Rican flag in a video game. I've never seen that in my life." And it's just kind of like, whoa. Like, I mean, again, the saying, you're gonna see Mexican things everywhere. You're gonna get like Coco and all that stuff. But you're missing all these other things, and people were just so excited to see that. And I think there is so much opportunity to just beyond representation. It's just the fact that everyone's just a big community. We're just kind of separated by countries and stuff. But I think it starts first with including everyone, and then after that, I think the connections are starting to be made. But I think it's going in a really good direction. I think that everything's kind of polarizing, um, especially with Donald Trump. But I feel because such evil springs up, then the opposite has to also naturally come up. You have heroism. You have people saying, "Yeah, no, we gotta fight against this thing." So it's just very good. I think that it's going in a good direction. I don't know what's gonna come. Like COVID or some more stuff. But I know that we haven't been here the last 100,000 years just out of nothing, right? But anyway, that's my take.
Well, thank you so much. My dad just tuned in, said just joined, but we'll be watching. He's in India. I don't know if either of you have been to India, but you are welcome to India. Walter says great. And Hands of the Sun says, I completely agree with at Silvermender. That's Gabriella's Twitter handle. And that's great. So I'm going to ask our two guests to just, I'm going to just say thank you to them, not ask them any more things, but thank you for being here. I know that we would love to, our students who helped put this together are very grateful to you. We're going to do a quick debrief in just a few minutes. If you will wait off stage, we'd love to talk to you. And we'll say goodnight to both of you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Was that an amazing hour plus? We had told them 35, 45 minutes, and here we are, an hour and 12 minutes. I learned a lot. I know you did as well. If you can just tag your friends and family, they can watch this later on all our various channels. So one of the things we want to do is to thank our sponsors and also to say their names. One of the things we asked Kimberly Crenshaw, the great Columbia Law School professor who coined the term intersectionality, we asked her, what can we do to be allies of Black folks? And she said, say their name. So we will do that in just a minute. Before that, we just want to thank our sponsors for making this possible. We want to thank Nunbelievable, 20% off with the code SREE, divinely delicious cookies on a mission, nunbelievable.com. We want to thank The Inventor in You, a step-by-step guide to your first invention by Charles Cunnincarroll, developer of more than 80 patents, at Inventor Charles, guide to invention.com. We also want to tell you that promotional considerations provided by please check out hotstar.com/US. And we want to thank Muckrack Academy for helping me put together this free on-demand social media course that anyone in the world can take, and more than 4,000 people have taken already. You get a free certificate. It's about 2 hours of work, mrac.co/social, mrac.co/social. And here are just some of the certificates that people have gotten, and you can get yours too, mrac.co/social. And finally, if you would like to keep in touch with us, you can go to youtube.com/Sreenet and hit subscribe, please. Now we want to say their names. We are using this cover of Time magazine. You see the names of people who were killed in police violence on the border. You see a painting by Titus Kaffer of a mom with a child stolen from her with the blue glove of the pandemic. On the right, You see Lorena Floyd, Larcinia Floyd, I'm so sorry, Larcinia Floyd with her son George, and she would die 2 years almost to the day that he was killed on camera, and now they're buried next to each other in Houston. He, of course, was killed on camera, murdered on camera in Minneapolis. And here are the names: Trayvon Martin, Yvette Smith, Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Laquan McDonald, Tanisha Anderson, Akai Gurley, Tamir Rice, Jerame Reed, Natasha McKenna, Eric Harris, Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, William Chapman, Sandra Bland, Darius Stewart, Samuel DeBose, Janet Wilson, Kaylin Rockmore, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Joseph Mann, Terrence Crutcher, Chad Robertson, Jordan Edwards, Aaron Bailey, Stefan Clark, Danny Ray Thomas, Antoine Rose, Botham Jean, Tatiana Jefferson, Michael Dean, Ahmad Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd. That, of course, is not the list of all the names. That's not even the list of all the names who have been attacked and killed after the killing of George Floyd. But we must say their names, and we do that every day on the show. We have terrific episodes coming up in the days ahead, including an episode tomorrow night looking at the state of the political ramifications of the passing of the great RBG, Justice Ginsburg, and we will talk about that at 9 p.m. Eastern. On Thursday, we have a show at noon Eastern, and one of our guests in the next few days will be Michael Schmidt, who's written a book about the Trump administration, and there's also a New York Times reporter who has broken so many big stories in the last few months. And with that, we'll say goodbye. Thank you very much, everybody. Big thanks to my students at Stony Brook for doing such a great job. And you will see more of our students in future episodes. These are the Stony Brook journalism episodes. Big congratulations to Kaila, Stang, Niki, Nassiri, and Lorena, Garcia. I see at least one of them dancing in the back as they celebrate the end of their assignment. So here we go. And thank you very much, everybody. Goodbye. We'll see you soon.